anywhere on this map. Reaper is pretty much the only unit that can actually get in there and do serious damage. And it looks like great control by SLush defending. His larva just ended up popping off. He's pulling his roaches back, not making any more quite yet. Oh, look at that great timing. He managed to get that Reaper right as it popped up. And look at SLush covering his base with these Overlords. Has another Roach at the north end of his base. And we see QXC pretty much just opting to get a whole bunch of Marauders at this point. It's not going to turn out too well for him as his opponent almost has that layer done. Now it finally is done, and perhaps we'll get to see a Spire. Something a little bit more standard, I'd imagine.
We do see that Spire now dropped at the north of his base. They're opting to use that Overlord to spew creep and kind of hide that Spire from those scans of the Terran player. Another sneaky play here from SLush. It'll be interesting to see if these Reapers are going to be able to get inside. If they go down right now, SLush would be able to see it, but it looks like he's going to opt to just pull those back. We do see two Marauders now slowly joining these two Reapers here. Hit the Xel'Naga Watchtower. I guess we're just waiting for the Spire to finish from SLush, as the second command center from QXE is going to be going down right now, but really no anti-air right now, not even a factory from QXC, so we might see SLush pull ahead right here, as that Spire is about 60% complete right now.
And we did just see a scan by QXC. If I go to QXC and, go to the QXC cam, holding V on there, QXC has absolutely no idea about the Spire. And look, QXC sending in two Marauders, shooting at this hatchery, probably feels really clever, like, haha, I've done so much pressure to him that only now can he get up a hatch, and I've easily killed it with my Reapers and Marauders, but little does he know that air is about to come out, and I don't see an engineering bay. The factory's only just finished, the expo's up. I mean, QXC has a lot of confidence when he really shouldn't because of that beautiful placement by SLush.
We do see him opting now to throw down that factory and also a tech lab. Possibly going to be seeing some Thors here from the Terran player. He is going to be able to get inside the base. Not sure if he saw... Nope, he still has not seen that Spire from the Zerg player. Those Mutalisks are about to pop up right now, 7 of them in all, and looks like QXE is about to be in for a ride, as these Mutalisks are going to just pop up in his main relatively soon.
But look at that great control by QXE. He was able to snipe off one Roach, there's a second one, and look at him just doing beautiful run fire microbe, doing as much damage as he possibly can before the inevitable death of that Marauder. Getting just a few more shots off, but here come Mutalisks. Uh-oh, Armory isn't even finished yet. QXC has no anti-air, only Marauders. It's probably blown away to see Mutalisks at this point. Will he start a Thor? Will he just say GG? No, it doesn't even begin a Thor. So it looks like SLush is going to kill quite a lot of momentum there. And one thing to note, QXC has told me that he absolutely hates losing. I mean, even if you're practicing with him, and he's beat you 5 games in a row, and you win one because he made a silly error, that can definitely have a significant impact on his mental state.
All right, so we'll have to see if QXC can keep it together here going into the 4th map on Kulas Ravine. The series now at 2 for QXC, 1 for SLush, so looks like SLush might be able to pull back into this series right now. We're going to get everyone into this game right now as I am inviting everyone into this lobby. The slow
doing a little lobby commentary. Everyone's joining. Will they make it in?
Will they make it in? We'll have to see. I just threw Day 9 into Team 1. That's not the right player that's going to be playing for us today.
I'd be down to spar. I need some practice.
Waiting for the players to say they're ready. Let me ask them and make sure. All right. SLush, you good to go? All right, so here we go. Game 4 on Kulas Ravine. QXC up 1 match on SLush, but we did just see him lose to SLush there on Desert Oasis 2. Kind of a blunder by QXC, not having any anti-air. SLush just sending in a couple lings, staying strong there through that early Reaper harassment from QXC, and then just finishing it off by throwing in some mutas there at the end. But we do see QXC spawn in the southeast as the purple Terran, and in the northwest we have the orange Zerg player, SLush.
And this is one of those maps that, again, I have to favor QXC on. This map traditionally is awful for Zerg. There are so many ways to abuse Zerg early. I mean, there's this high ground right outside the natural. Reapers abuse it well. The natural itself has a giant, wide-open front, so I'm very curious to see how SLush is going to be able to deal with the architecture of this map.
All right, so Sean, on Kulas Ravine, you said that this map is probably one of the worst maps for Zerg. Do you still stand by that point?
Well, now most maps are bad for Zerg because roaches cost food. It's pretty hard given any map architecture to battle against that. But still, this map, I just cannot emphasize enough how rough it is for a lot of Zerg players early on. And, I shouldn't really say that sort of thing. There are solutions that have not been explored yet with Zerg, because, we're still in the early early days of StarCraft 2. We're still in the beta. But one of the things that I've seen Zergs do that's pretty creative, it's a style that Demaga, the famous European Zerg player, is famous for, which is just doing a one-hatch fast layer, getting speed Zerglings, and getting 2 gas geysers very quickly. And because he gets his layer so fast, he can get an Overseer up, scout exactly what Terran is doing, and do some sort of overly skewed response. One of the things that makes StarCraft so hard is that you can't do something like just mass Marauder, because you'll lose to air, exactly how we saw last game. You have to account for these possibilities. And that's one style that I've seen Zergs try to abuse, to try to find out exactly what the Terran's doing, with absolutely no way for Terran to slow it down. But it looks like we're going to be seeing none of that now that I've spent a while talking about that. That was a good bit of fun, don't you think? So
you got us through the pregame, so.
Yeah, thank God, all this boring stuff where they're doing their opening builds, and pretty standard by QXC, and also double standard by SLush, just making sure that hatchery goes down by hiding that drone a little bit.
Yeah, we also see QXC send that SCV rather to QXC's SCV. That's hard to say if you say it as many times as we have today. But we do see him send it to the wrong position. He's going to be seeing the Zerg player SLush here relatively soon, seeing that he is going for the standard play, going back into QXC's base. We do see him also doing the standard with that orbital command center up now, and he's also going to be throwing down that factory. Probably going to be seeing a reactor onto that Rax there at his choke point, and probably going to be seeing some Hellion harassment from the Terran player.
I would really expect QXC to branch just a little bit at this point because of all the stuff I've seen him do. Normally the signal to that would be a much faster second gas, and because we're seeing none of that, again, how disappointing. He's going to play standard. But, this is one of those maps where that exact style QXC used on Steps of War is also super effective, getting those Marauders and Hellions to push very quickly, because on Steps of War, you can deal with it by pushing your creep forward to your fat ramp, just outside your third base. But on this map, it's just a giant, wide-open natural, and there's no way to deal with it. And, again, good thing we spent all that time discussing that, because we see a command center for QXC. So the smart play for this command center, I'm just going to say this because I want to be wrong more, but Terran should get a reactor at that barracks, and then expand to his high ground. Because, again, likewise, all the naturals on this map are just so wide and spread out. But just going to say it, I bet we're going to see a starport coming with some Vikings. I bet that... Oh, no, there's a tech lab. So, I'm just going to let you talk. Take it away, JP.
All right. We do have that spine crawler there in the natural expansion of SLush. This SCV is going to be able to sneak in behind there and be able to see possibly what tech that the Zerg player is opting for, but you're not going to see really any tech. He is getting that metabolic boost on that spawning pool for those speedlings. We do see those Hellions now streaming straight to the natural of SLush. Now, he is going to be able to evade that spine crawler. Wow, he almost snipes that drone there on that second spine crawler, but he's going to be able to evade those 2 spine crawlers at the natural. And now we need to see if SLush can micro these Zerglings without speed right now. His speed is almost done. Looks like it's going to finish, actually not at all with those current links. QXC might be able to get in a little bit more drones here than we usually see from this early Hellion harass.
Yeah, I'm amazed at how good QXC's control is, just getting it just the right angles to kill off maximum Zerglings. We even saw 3 fall in one shot back there, and it looks like these Hellions, wow, they are not dying anytime soon. Poor little Queen having to wander off her creep, where she's about as slow as a Reaver in StarCraft 1, and it looks like Zerglings might... Okay, speed has just finished, and look how quickly it ends that Hellion harass. Get at him, maw base! And some more Hellions coming up, but serious damage done by that early Hellion harass.
Looks like SLush just turned into an Australian there in Sean's mind, but we do see those Hellions get rid of those Zerglings, and we also see that command center now researching into an orbital command there at the natural expansion of QXC. QXC now with 5 Hellions, and Sean, this natural expansion of SLush is really extremely hard to defend with these 2 entry points there, with that little water reservoir, I guess, in between, splitting that. So we do see SLush hide those lings there in between those between those bushes on the left, but looks like QXC is not going to start harassing until he repairs these Hellions there at the natural expansion.
Good positioning by those Zerglings. It's just a very nice spot for them to hang out, because almost always the Terran player is going to be encouraged to attack on the left side of that hot tub in the middle. Because, I mean, the spine crawlers are just so apparent on the right side. So I love the positioning there. Even though it doesn't look like an attack's coming anytime soon, I still like it quite a bit. And here's the SLush we all know and love, getting that Spire up. He loves getting Spire once he gets his layer up. It just shuts down so much. And look at them hiding in the bushes. Oh my god, getting completely surrounded. 2 Hellions fall almost instantly. Looks like he baked 3 Zerglings there, but still not at all an even trade for Terran, taking quite a bit of a loss there.
Yeah, it looks like that is going to not, or it is going to not allow QXE to see that Spire going down in his base. But let's see if QXE is going to learn from his previous game, as he now has the Starport going down. He's going to be taking down these destructible rocks to possibly get up a new expansion. And going back over into the Zerg's base, we do see him now putting down a Baneling nest. Looks like it has just now started. We do see a scan there. Wow, I'm not sure if that scan is going to be able to see that Spire, and it does not. So QXE right now is thinking that this Zerg player is going to be going Banelings, and he also has this Xel'Naga Watchtower here in the middle, but really kind of misinformed right now with SLush hiding the Spire, which is really a great play.
And look at this, we're already seeing the Spire. Oh my god, wait, a lot of starports getting built. Oh no, QXE did cancel one. Looks like he's going to be landing it at that reactor. I would be interested to see if he's going to be making any sort of Vikings at this point, because that's really his only ticket to be able to deal with any sort of Mutalisks. And oh no, here comes a medevac. The Spire is finished. Going to the production tab, we see 5 Mutalisks en route. Will take a little while to get a big Mutalisk army up, but it's all worth it in SLush's mind, because, I mean, look at this. Going to the unit counting station, 5 Marines out. 4 QXC. Are those even finished yet? Or are those just in the building queue? Oh no, there's the 5 Marines, as there are 3 barracks with Tech Lab. He has just begun upgrading the combat shield, is just now adding reactors. We've seen this 6 barrack style from QXC many times before in this series, but it looks like with all these Mutalisks about to pop, it's going to be super difficult for QXC to live through this attack.
Yeah, we do see about 5 Mutalisks right now with 4 more in production. So QXC is going to be in a sticky situation that he just found himself on Desert Oasis. Looks like he is still not going to be building these Vikings. They're opting to build another medevac from that starport. He's throwing down another tech lab onto that last Rax. So this is going to be really interesting to see. SLush might be revealing all of his cards right here in the middle as he does fly over those Hellions, and QXC is probably just going to be crying right now as he sees all of these mutas here. While he also does have a missile turret there, he's going to be sniping a little bit of these Mutalisks, but that missile turret does go down, and now only 4 Marines, actually no Marines, as those Mutalisks took him out quite easily.
And look at this, doing so much damage to the worker line. Taking out a mule, target firing those mules is so important in any sort of harassment. 2 Marines, no thank you. And then here comes the target firing on the medevacs, taking all of them out. One of the most important units to maintaining aggression as Terran are those medevacs, so he's not only hoping to deal damage in the attack, but also preventing a counterattack in his own base. We're seeing tons of drones getting made for Zerg in the middle of this attack. A few Marines coming forward for QXC, and it looks like those reactors came out just in time as we see Marines pouring out of all those barracks. These 2 poor little medevacs having to heal everything themselves, even when they're severely wounded.
Now, one thing I want to know is how come we don't see any Vikings in production here from QXC? Is he opting just to go for this heavy Marine force, Sean? What are your thoughts on that?
The issue with Vikings is that that's a good temporary solution. It deals with the Mutalisks directly, but the question is, what about after the harass is done? If you spend a lot of money on medevacs, then you have the ability to do a big aggressive push. If you spend money on the Marines, you have the ability to do a big aggressive push. So even though it might be a little bit more difficult, you will have a much easier time after the attack is done. And to be honest, SLush is so aggressive against Vikings with his Mutalisks, I wouldn't be surprised if they did almost no damage at all.
We do see those Mutalisks now in the main of QXC, and if you go back into QXC's base really quickly here as this Mutalisks continue to rise, you see a ton of Banelings. They also have that movement speed upgrade, so whenever SLush decides to attack right here, I think we're going to possibly see quite a steamroll from the Zerg player.
Interesting choice by SLush. It's one of those classic great compositions, the Baneling Zergling Muta combo, and this is something we have not seen out of SLush at all yet. I mean, it looks like he's going to be going in for the all-in bust here. He really needs to do a lot of damage. He needs to kill off those Marauders first, but they do crash right into the Marauders. Baneling's doing a lot of waste there. Now running past, doing serious damage. Oh no! Look at the chasing after the Marines.
Oh my god!
Get me out of here! Oh my god, those Banelings move so far back, and what amazing control by QXC, pulling all the way back to the Marauders. And it looks like I can't quite tell which player came out ahead. I mean, SLush did end up killing most of those Marauders at the front with his Mutalisks. I mean, those Mutalisks have a lot of kills on them. Look at that, 3 kill, 1 kill, 2 kills, 5 kills, 1 kill. Most of those are Marauders, so that's a pretty significant amount of money lost. But I mean, QXC with some beautiful control managed to survive that giant Baneling bust. And if we look back in SLush's main, he is still making just Mutas, Zerglings, and almost certainly some more Banelings coming up, and taking that gold Expo. And oh my goodness, double Evo Chamber going down, but almost certainly not for the +1 range upgrade. He's probably going to be upgrading those Lings and those Banelings, so hip hip hooray.
During that last Baneling attack, I just couldn't stop thinking about the Benny Hill music as they were just chasing down those Marines, because that was pretty ridiculous. We also do see a ton of Mutalisks now, 60 Mutalisks harassing the natural expansion of QSC, taking out most of the mules there. Some great target firing there from SLush, taking all of the mules out from the natural expansion of QXC. QXC is going to be putting down a missile turret there, but we only do see some Marine, some Marauders, and some Medivacs right now from the Terran player, and we also see another expansion being thrown down here from SLush at the high yield expansion south of his base. And he's going to be continuing to opt for the same force, but now we're about to see some aggression from the Terran player.
And, you know, I like being wrong, so it looks like he is in fact upgrading range attack. And oh, look at this huge attack by QXC trying to bust in here. Zerglings are there. They're going to be doing a little bit of damage, but here comes a ton of Banelings trying to surround everything. Oh my god, so much stuff died. And look at that, pulling back just in time to make sure that those Marauders don't take any additional hits from the Banelings, and all these Medivacs are going to fall as well. And it looks like SLush did a little bit of a misclick at those Evo Chambers, queuing up Carapace and Attack at the same Evo Chamber. So, completely understandable mistake, but absolutely not something you want to make this late into the game. So it looks like SLush's plan is to transition into a big Roach army. He's hoping to skew his opponent's composition more and more towards Marines, but looks like he's not quite being willing to do it.
Yeah, we need to see QXC possibly transition into something else right now. He's going to be continuing to build these Medivacs, Marines, and Marauders. He knows that high yield expansion is up. He did see that hatchery, so he's going to be sniping this hatchery right now with really no defenses from SLush. He's going to be sending in these Banelings and these Mutalisks and these Lings, but that hatchery just fell way too quick. And he's going to be able to put them right outside of his natural expansion. Now we're going to have to wait to see what QXC decides to do next.
It's a pretty significant blunder by SLush, letting that expansion fall. And the way you deal with that is anytime you kill off a big attack, take your damn Xel'Naga Watchtower. It helps so much. Oh, big engagement coming up. Baneling's trying to run through and get to those Marines, but look at that, running all the Marines as far back as he can, doing a little bit of target firing, but those Banelings do damage when they end up dying, so you need to be very careful with them. Some more stim coming off on these Marines, but they don't have any more health, so the Mutalisks clean them up relatively quickly. And now pretty much back to where we were before, except QXC brilliantly has taken another expansion here, playing very, very defensively, still macroing quite well. And do we see that? Yes, three upgrades going down for Terran now, as we see that the Zerg has only finished +1 Carapace. So QXC demonstrating how powerful the upgrades are as the game continues to progress.
Still waiting on SLush to see if he's actually transitioned into Roaches here, opting out of the Banelings possibly. He's going to be continuing to spawn Mutalisk, and he also did re-queue that missile attack there from the Evolution Chamber. So it looks like he is going to be paying a little bit more attention to his upgrades. Now he's going to be able to spot this other expansion of QXC, going to be taking down, wow, actually some great repair there from QXC. Looks like that one's going to last a little bit longer than he expected. But now if you look towards the middle of the map, we see a huge force of QXC, possibly just to go to snipe this high yield expansion of SLush, which is a really great move if you think about it, because right now SLush is only on 1 base and QXC is still on 3 bases. So he's able to pump out forces and continue to keep macroing while SLush has to worry about this hatchery here at the high yield, and it looks like it's going to fall quite easily. Actually, he's going to be able to cancel it, but now SLush is going to be in kind of a tight situation, as all he has right now are a ton of Banelings and some Mutalisks, as well as some Roaches, I think. I'm not sure where those... Oh, okay, the Roaches are there now in his main. Looks like SLush is a little bit ahead right now, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in our next attack.
Yeah, and I mean, only now is SLush actually poking up there to that Xel'Naga watchtower. Absolutely shocked he hasn't taken that in the last 2 times, because that's really come back to bite him in the ass. Look at this great move by QXC, loading everything up into the medevacs for a safe return home. Absolutely brilliant retreat method. I mean, we've seen medevacs used in just normal pushes. We've seen them used in these little drops. But increasingly more, we're seeing great plays like QXC right there, using them in nice, well-timed retreats in order to return home safely.
We are about to see those Tier 3 upgrades finish relatively soon. Possibly going to see a nice timing attack here from QXC. He's also throwing down another command center there. It's his northernmost expansion. Going to be throwing that to the high yield. But now we see this huge encounter between the Terran and Zerg forces in the middle of the map. Looks like SLush is going to fall back. He's going to scan here from QXC. Taking out those creep tumors. Going to disallow that creep there in the middle of the map. Really making SLush have to work for his units here. Getting them up in front of these Marauders.
And it looks like QXC is just sitting there waiting for 3-3 to finish. His +3 armor is almost done, and he will be able to move in there and do serious, serious hurt. And it looks like that Zerg is only just now starting +2/+2, so SLush is way behind on the upgrade battle. I mean, 3-3 Marines do so much damage. Those Zerglings right now only do 2 damage to each hit on the Marine. That's such a significant drop in the amount of damage that they're doing. That might be the reason why SLush opted to go for Roaches. This high damaging unit negates those upgrades a little bit more easily, but right now this could be anyone's game at this point. Oh, huge conflict coming up. So many Marauders in there. The Banelings trying to come up and do damage, trying to get the Mutalisks in the back to kill off the Marines, but there are just too many, and QXC with those 3-3 upgrades rips through SLush's army, and QXC takes the series to 3-1.
Yeah, I really thought that QXC was going to lose that game when he got those mutas in his base early, but QXC completely proved me wrong there, and just staying through those attacks on the high-yield expansion really, I think, are probably what won him that match. They're not allowing SLush to get that expansion. But Sean, why don't you talk for a second, as I can't talk and create games because I'm kind of retarded, I guess.
Well, I absolutely agree with you that was one of the deciding factors that helped QXC swing the game into his favor. But in addition, I think that upgrades played such a huge role in that series. And SLush was trying to do a little bit too much with his unit compositions. I mean, we saw Mutalisks come out once the layer was up, and then we saw a bunch of Banelings after that, and then transitioning into Roaches, and then getting upgrades. I mean, the upgrades just came in so late that by the time that last battle happened, most of SLush's units were hardly doing any damage, especially to those Marines. I mean, really, SLush needed the Banelings to kill all of the Marines, and then for those Mutalisks to slowly chip away at everything else. So, I mean, most of the time, Zerg gets 2 bases up and immediately throws down and begins, the Expo train chugging along. But SLush getting really delayed by that. And it looks like we are going into Game 5 here on Scrap Station, one of my personal favorite maps. And for once, I think that this map will really favor SLush. I think that on this map, he has the ability to sit back, macro, not a lot of cliffside to worry about for any sort of Reaper harass, pretty long distances. So 1, 2, 3, go SLush.
Looks like I started the match here a little bit early. Okay, QXC is there. Wow, I was really scared right there. As QXC did say 1 sec, and I read it, and then it's like, oh yeah, let's start the game, of course. And then QXC starts spamming, wait. So it looks like he is going to be playing this match, possibly not 100% ready. But Sean, Scrap Station, we've seen this map, I think, once in the Showcase series. So TVZ,
you get 4-0'd.
Yeah. What do you know about this map in TVZ?
Well, Terran really needs to favor some sort of Expo-oriented play because, I mean, Reapers not only have to take a really long time to get from base to base, but also can't really get into the base from that many angles. I mean, you're either walking up the ramp or 5 feet to the left of the ramp. I mean, it's so closed off from ground. So, since Zerg's going to be expanding and playing passively, there's no reason Terran can't as well. So I absolutely love some sort of barracks directly into orbital command and expand. That's probably the most typical one, or something skewed way far to the one base style, where you end up getting double Banshees very early on, so you can transition into double Ravens with your Expo. But Zerg going to be doing a nice, straight-up macro game.
And we do see QXC opting for the normal here, putting that supply depot down first and then getting a Rax. Going to be seeing him throw down some gas here relatively soon, and then, of course, getting that orbital command. And going back to SLush's base, looks like he's going to be opting for a hatchery first. Here is this map did receive some changes a couple patches ago. I think it might have been patch 10. He threw down some, or Blizzard did throw down some destructible debris.
Guy named Phil.
Phil threw down some rocks there, blocking off that natural expansion. So it makes the quick expansion for Zerg a little bit more viable. And QXC is going to be going to scout that there with his SCV. That spawning pool is going to be thrown down as well for SLush. So, Sean, we've kind of talked about the next 3 minutes of the game here in the openers that we've seen players do now quite often. So, looking into this match, possibly what are going to be some things that you might expect to see here later on?
Slightly later gas by Zerg, or building it at the most normal time in the world right now. That's fine, too. But later on down the road, there's this weird struggle that happens between, do I want to kill the destructible rocks in the middle, or do I want to go take my third? Because if you take your third, it pretty much just has one choke. And QXC doing a bunker rush at the worst possible angle in the world. I mean,
someone felt geometry.
I mean, he just really wants to let Zerg know that he's the boss. I mean, we can salvage that. That's one thing to note. But SLush surprisingly late on making these Zerglings. Oh my god, is the Marine actually going to get in there? He's moving the SCV's at like 5 health, and he's unloading it from any side he can. But the Marine's going to get him. How'd that happen? Oh my god, and here comes 4 Lings. If he kills off this Marine, I will just raffle my little heart out. Looks like he does kill off the SCV, and I don't even think SLush cares. He's just going to hang out here. Well, it looks like he might lose an Overlord. This is hilarious. Is he going to lose that Overlord? And here comes another Marine, darting in. He really wants to bunker rush. Here come more Zerglings. This, I'm not going to lie, this was a gigantic loss for Terran, and really not the biggest loss for Zerg. I mean, he's making some Marines. He gets to kill off... Oh, no! So many Zerglings made. It might seem like I was saying, oh, no, about the Marines, but really, Zerg, wow, why are you making so many Zerglings? And no Queen has been started yet at either location. Wait a minute. What?
So Sean is baffled and confused. We do see QXC throw down that factory onto that reactor. Going to be putting 2 Hellions at her out here, and SLush knows that it's coming because he does have an Overlord right outside the main of QXC. QXC also opting to completely standardize his build here and throw down a command center. Going to be moving that over to his natural expansion. Here come the Hellions here, going straight towards, already rallied towards the Zerg's base. The Zerg does have this natural expansion up with, looks like only 1 Queen is up right now. They're at the expansion of the Zergs. He also does have this Roach Warren up. He is also going to start building some Roach Warrens. Looks like these Hellions might get over to the Zerg's base a little bit late. Wow, they're stopping there at the Zelnaga Watchtower. They need to go as fast as possible.
Once again, I am shocked that Zerg does not have a second Queen up. That seems pretty fundamental to me on this map. I suppose a few too many Zerglings were made. And look at this. Oh, nice surround with those Zerglings. I mean, QXC doing another beautiful job. Hellions, great choice on this map because the giant open spaces, even with those destructible debris there, they can still get in and get behind your workers at your expansion pretty easily. And also QXC following it up with the Expo Command Center, brilliant. And it looks like these guys are doing so much damage. If he gets one more shot off, he might be able to kill off all these drones. He roasted like 5 or 6 drones, only at the cost of 2 Hellions. That is not a big loss for Terran at all. And I just like to state that for the record that I would love to see a second Queen by SLush right now.
We do see a lair there in the main of SLush. Now he's going to be throwing down second gas there in the main with no gases up there at the natural expansion. He's going to be spawning a ton of drones right now, trying to get a little bit more Hellion action there to try to snipe some more drones, but those Roaches are going to be able to repel those Hellions quite easily. We do see this command center down at the natural expansion of QXC, fully operational and running, dropping down those mules. A starport now almost complete on the reactor, and here come the racks now, up to 3 racks right now, probably going to end up seeing 6 once they're all complete. No upgrades right now from the Terran player, though. Probably going to be getting stim as well as concussive shells, and probably later on the combat shield if we do see... Actually, we don't see a Spire at all. We see a Hydralisk in right now from the Zerg player.
You know, I like this transition to Hydralisks. I mean, theoretically, Mutalisks would be the obvious choice on this map because you can walk it directly over to his base, and it's pretty short distances, but SLush really has been thrown off his game quite a bit, doing things that I really have not seen him do very often. And I would like the idea that he's getting these Hydralisks kind of getting back into his normal flow of things. It's going to start building just a good, solid unit composition right away. Because, I mean, even though he's not abusing these close distances, he still has the opportunity to set up a lot of expansions and power nice and hard. And we do see some Vikings out. Managed to kill off one Overlord as QXC sneaks around the map a little bit. But with those Hydras out, the Overlords shouldn't be dying too much.
We do see some 2 Vikings now coming in here to the main of SLush. Looks like he does have no Hydralisk right now, but that Queen possibly going to be able to repel those Vikings. He does get those 2 Overlords back into the safety of his main supply or peon line. Excuse me. He is probably going to get this Overlord here, kind of out there in the middle, stranded right now. He does easily take that out, and now we're going to see QXC move these Vikings over here into the expansion of SLush. But now these Hydralisks are out and going to be probably taking out those Vikings relatively soon. Going back into QXC's base, he's now up to 4x right now, and he also has his.
There goes a Viking. Sorry, it's just the Hydralisks run so fast on creep that even if those Vikings poke a little bit into the main, they can evaporate instantly.
Yeah, so I was just saying that the command center is fully operational. They're getting both gases down at the natural expansion of QXC. This Viking is just scouting out space in the unexplored frontier, I guess, here a little bit Star Trek-y from QXC, opting to see if this expansion, I guess, from that Viking, he probably just threw that down there and forgot about it. But now we see a ton of upgrades coming from the Terran player. Weapons Infantry 1, Combat Shield, Concussive Cells. He's going to be making Marauders, Marines, and Medevacs as well. We see him throwing down a Sensor Tower as well as another Engineering Bay. But here comes SLush. He does have Overlord speed. He's probably going to be scouting out to see if the command center was lifted here from the Terran player, but he does not see it. This Viking is going to take out this other Overlord, though, as he is going to be scouting there above those destructible rocks. And going back into the SLush's forces, we do see him massing quite a few Roaches right now, as well as already having those Hydralisks from before.
And this is another interesting choice by SLush. He does have the Tunneling Claws finished, and he's just now finishing range for Hydralisks. And it looks like he might be going for a Hydraling plus Burrowing Roach push. Which most of the time we just see mass Roaches and then a burrow. But QXC doing a great job of using these sensor towers to set up a nice solid defense. It's not quite covering his natural expansion, so he's a little bit in the dark on that one. But SLush looks like he's going for just another big, huge, solid push.
Yeah, he does take out those 2 Hellions there at the Xel'Naga Watchtower, Northern Xel'Naga Watchtower, 1 of 2 on this map. And QXC might be getting a little bit worried right here, as he does only have... Well, I guess he has a pretty decently sized force, but those Hydralisk Roaches, and now we see the Roach Burrow there. He's going to be letting those get ahead here. QXC, Sean, does the Sensor Tower reveal burrowed units? I'm not really sure if you see them coming in. I guess we'll find out here, as they are about to hit it right now, and it does not. So there you go. Learning
no scan going off, or it looks like either absolutely no minimap watching going off. And here comes all the units. Oh, QXC does not see any of the Roaches. You can see a little trickle of dust underneath the Roaches. He did not notice it. He unburrows right behind. But look at them getting evaporated immediately. Just not nearly enough Roaches. And SLush says, here are some sacrificial units for you. As SLush drops all the way down into 70 food. His Spire is almost done. But he is not going to have enough time at all to build those if QXC pushes. Looks like QXC is not going to be opting for a push. She's going to sit back and abuse all these barracks. And look at this. Has 5 barracks with Tech Lab and only 1 with Reactor. That is going to bite him when all these Spire units start popping out.
One thing to note is that SLush does have this burrowed Roach here right at the ramp of QXC's main. So he is going to be seeing... Actually, he's not going to be seeing any attacks from QXC. As QXC is now 4 medevacs loaded up. Looks like he is going to be dropping this into the main of SLush. And SLush right now doesn't really have the units to combat this drop right here. Actually, he might actually lose these.
Oh, is he going to be able to take one out? No, he doesn't end up getting it. QXC, the luckiest man in the universe, unless, of course, one Mutalisk flies forward and just vomits once upon it. But it looks like he's pulling back with those Mutalisks. A lot of Zerglings out now to get morphed into some Banelings, rallying back into this far corner. And also, look at this SLush expanding to the bottom left, right in front of this SCV at the Xel'Naga Watchtower. No big deal. I wanted him to know it was expanding there. But it looks like QXC has just pulled back all these medevacs and is repairing. Doesn't look like he's going to be going for any drop quite soon. Is building some more Vikings. Like that choice on this map. Gives you a lot of control over the space on the map. And QXC also building another command center. So that way he can end up taking the left expo there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if QXC does push here. Is this my spectator is actually pinging this roach here at the natural expansion of QXC. This is actually quite hilarious because those SCVs were trying to attack it. They're standing right next to a missile turret. Looks like it is going to be falling now, but SLush getting a little bit of an extra information. That roach, resilient in burrowed, he's not going to come up and just die, I guess, underground. Terran's sure probably happy about that because they don't have to do any cleanup work. But looking at the forces of SLush, he does have quite a few Mutalisks here right now, as well as a ton of Zerglings. But one thing to notice is that these Zerglings are at the southern high yield expansion down here. He needs to get these Mutalisks down here and possibly take out these Marauders before they engage these Zerglings right here. And also another thing is there's not that many Marines in this force of QXC.
And it looks like SLush has to pull back because even though there aren't that many Marines, there are still quite a bit. A little over, looks like 20 Marines about hanging out there in that bottom force. And with no Banelings, it looks like that expansion is going to be dead in the water. And SLush letting his money climb up so high. He's having a real hard time macroing in this series. I guess the aggression of QXC is really throwing them off kilter. And it looks like Mutalisk is going to be doing a little bit of a counterattack here, but there are already so many missile turrets up here by QXC right now. But SLush is going to get some free medevac kills, but my god, QXC has so many turrets and just so much stuff. And is now getting 3-2 upgrades. Jesus, QXC is a macro beast and has great timing on his economy.
Yeah, QXC is moving into position here to kind of give the killing blow to SLush. Looks like he's going to sit there, possibly wait for reinforcements from his main. Actually, no, it looks like he's just going to go straight for the attack here. He does throw a scan down into the, I guess, opening area of the main / expansion, and not even fighting. GG from SLush, and that puts QXC at 4-1, making him this week's King of the Beta Hill Showmatch Series champion, dethroning SLush, who bested Chthon last week. And really, I thought Chthon was probably one of the best Terrans in North America. QXC easily taking SLush, but really, I have to ask the question, Sean, how much of this relies on the patch change today?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, SLush started off doing pretty much the style that he was used to, and he got maxed, and like he was saying in the chat, it's so weird. He felt so weak, and even looking at the army size, I just looked at that and said, oh yeah, it's probably like a 120, 130 food army. And then when I opened up the resource tab, he was maxed, and it ended up meaning that when QXC pushed forward, he decimated SLush. And, I mean, that's not to say that Zerg has no options. I mean, the Hydra Zergling composition is super strong. But SLush, I think, clearly was trying to make some adjustments at the last second in those games. And it was just too big of a change in a tournament series. And it ended up losing him a lot of unnecessary games.
All right, guys, so there you have it. QXC will be returning next week to the Showcase Series. Going to be setting up another match. Probably going to make Thursdays the standard night here for this live tournament. These VODs will be uploaded to YouTube sometime tonight. I'll get those posted into the MLG Showcase Series thread. And now to talk about some of the other things going on here at MLG, we have the State of the Game podcast, which we recorded yesterday, episode 4 with myself, Day 9, The Little One, and Noni. A really great podcast running in about 2 hours, I think. A little bit shy of 2 hours. Definitely go check that out. There's a thread on Team Liquid about it already. And also tomorrow night, we will be bringing you round 2 of MLG's Fight Night. 2 hours of as much StarCraft as we can cram into there. QXC actually beating Zelnik last week on the, I guess, finisher best of 3. So this is the second time we've seen QXC. Tomorrow night, really haven't figured out who's going to be playing in the big finale match, but definitely check that out, as it is open to all people watching the stream. I will be giving out the real ID of my StarCraft 2 account, and you can just simply PM me, and we'll try to cram as many games into
Wow, that's bold.
It is bold. Last week was quite the let's just say it was rough last week, because I had about 400 people on the friends list, and StarCraft 2 would crash every second. So might possibly introducing a new way of doing that, but definitely check out Sean's Day 9 dailies, as I think a lot of people watching right now do watch that, so you can check those out Sunday through Thursday at 7 PST. Sean's probably one of the best commentators out there and one of the best analysts, so definitely check out Sean's Day 9 dailies. And also, I think, Sean, you are casting some other tournaments this weekend, so why don't you go ahead and tell the viewers about that really quickly before we wrap things up.
Yeah, for the American audience, I have to apologize for this time, but I will be live streaming the Europe vs. Asia show match hosted by GoSuGamers.net, where you can find out more information about the series there, and SC2.187.com. It will be at 6 a.m. Pacific, casted by myself and Greetorp live. So, sincerest apologies about the earliness of it, but again, it is intended for the European and Asian audience. At the very least, those will be up on demand, so you can definitely watch those whenever you want. My Day 9 Daily has moved. You can get the live casts at ustream.tv/channel/Day9TV. And you can get all my VODs for download at day9tv.blip.tv.
All right, so there you have it, guys. JP McDaniel here from MLG, going to be signing off. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, for next week's Major League Gaming Showcase series here on Ustream.